Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In today's episode in the NeoForge series, I'll be showing you how to create tags. What the purpose of tags is to basically group things together, and it also one other purpose is it allows you to create a certain JSON where you can set which items can be used to mine certain blocks. Because now, if you try to mine the block, so example with the if the block is like got the same properties as an iron block, you mine it, nothing will happen. That's because we need the tags for it. So first of all, you want to head over to your code.init folder, and in here you want to create a class called tags init. And the tags init class, we're going to have two other classes. So we're going to be public static class, and in here we're going to call this block init, block tags init. And in here you're going to have all the tags for the blocks in it. So before, and then you're going to have another one called public item tags in it. So you just want to head over to your block.init class that we created in a couple of prior episodes. So in here we want to create our first O. So you're going to create your first O. So you're going to do public static final deferred register, and you're gonna say a block. It's always block unless you have a custom block, and we're just gonna call not deferred register, deferred block. And in here, if I go to my assets folder and I go to my blocks, you can see that I've added two O's. One is deep state and one is example. So like in the new versions of Minecraft, there's didn't stop the y coordinate of 0. It keeps going down. So after y0 usually have deep slate O's. So the O registration part will be in another episode, but for now we'll just register box. So we're gonna have example underscore O, and that's an example, and we're just gonna say it's the same properties as an iron ore. In another episode, I'll show you how to add custom properties like redstone particles, but that's for another episode. So in here, we're just gonna say normal ores. We're just gonna say stops gen at y0, and for the next one, we'll say deep slate ores starts gen at y0. So in here we're gonna do this, will obviously change later on. So we're gonna do public static final deferred block, in here block. We're gonna call this deep slate example, or now have the same property as deep slate iron. So now if we head over to our also want to change one thing in our data gen. So if you want to head over to your recipes and you want to head over to your furnace recipe provider, prior to last episode I made it where smelting example block will give you the example item. You want to change this to our an item, not a block. So the item that we're going to be creating is, if you head over to your public static, in here we're going to do public static final deferred item, and our item is going to be called just give me a second, it's going to be called raw example. And the purpose of this raw example is that when you mine a deep slate or when you mine a normal ore, to avoid having loads of congestion in your inventory, you can just create one item which both blocks was dropped, and then you can smelt the item to get the actual ingot. So what we're gonna call this is called a raw underscore example, if I can spell, equals items.register.raw examples, and we're just going to say it has box standard item.properties now. So once you've done this, you want to head over to your furnace recipes and you want to do item init. In here you want to do example item, raw item, raw example, and this will give you the example item when smelted. And you just want to head over here and do the same thing for your blasted. And in here you obviously want to change the has as well to the raw. So you do item init dot raw example, and do this here as well. And in here you also just want to change this to a raw example smelting, and in here you're gonna do raw example blasting. And one other thing you do is, as stated in the prior episode, usually your blasting will be faster, so you will just do 0.3 instead of 0.2, 0.6, just to give a motivation to use blasting instead of smelting when wanting to cook recipes faster. Now, if we head over to your tags init class, let's create our first tags for our ORs. So we're just gonna do separately. ORs is just box standard in when dealing with but for normal blocks it would be known as storage. So storage. All right, so in the ORs we're just gonna do so we're gonna call it tag key. In here we're gonna do tag key block, a block, and wrong block, Minecraft's block, sorry, here. And in here we're gonna do ORs, and here will be the name of your OR. So our OR is called example, and in here you're gonna do you're gonna just do here block tags dot create, and in here you want to have the resource location. So we're just gonna do resource location dot tripod, and in here you're gonna have you're not gonna have your mod ID, you're gonna have the forge. So you're gonna do forge dot ORs, and in here you're gonna have ruby underscore ORs. Currently in NeoForge this hasn't been changed, but if there's any changes I will let you know. You can see that it's saying that it could be null. So one way to prevent this is we could create a method which gives us that resource location. So let's just do private static resource location, and in here create resource location forge, and we just do create in here create resource location, and it just saves time, and we can just say that now that if anything happens it'll just prevent it from being null. You could do a check if it's null and throw an error if you want, but it is much more convenient. And now we're gonna create the same one but for our deep slate block, deep slate O. So you're gonna do you just do deep slate here, deep slate O tag key block, and just do the same thing for deep slate, and you're gonna do deep slate O deep slate underscore O's, and that the name of our O. So let's just do, in our block name we have as example O, so let's just continue with the same, you want to use the same naming conventions. So underscore O, and in here we're just gonna do underscore O. Alright, so now let's do our storage block. So our storage block will follow the same naming criteria, but instead of deep slate obviously you're gonna have storage. So let's just use the same tag key, and in here you're gonna use a block, and in here we're gonna call our block storage blocks example. That's the name of our block, and we're just gonna say example block. Okay, so now we've done it for our blocks tagging it. Now let's do it for our items tagging it, and in the items tagging it you will want to do it for your blocks as well, because so you can have the you can have blocks as items. So let's just do here. So we'll do ORs, and then we'll do deep slate, we'll do storage, and then we'll just do items here, items. Alright, so now let's just create a private method that we'll use to get our resource location. Private resource location, create resource location, forge, and name. Instead of using block tags, we're going to use the class item tags to create our tags. So that's one difference in comparison. So we're going to do our example, not block tags. You want to do item tags here, item tags, and in here you want to create and just do your box standard thing. Alright. Oops, let me just fix that. Alright, now we're going to do the same thing for your deep slate O, and as well for your storage block. And now for the item, we currently have two items which we want to register for our items. So in here we're just going to characterize this as ore ingots. This is the ingot. This is the thing when we smelt raw, or it gives us and use to craft things, and that is this item over here. So over here you want to head over and do tag key item ingot underscore example. That's the name of our, this is the name of our ingot, or like the actual item that you get once you smelt it. And what you want to do here, ingot slash, and in here you want to just do example, because it's not our items we're actually calling it, where we just do it like this. And now we're gonna do it for our raw or scraps. That's what they're called, raw or scraps. So actually just, yeah, raw or scraps. That's how it's characterized in the Forge. And in here you're gonna do tag key, and in tag key you wanna have the item as well. And in here you're gonna have scraps underscore example, and you're gonna have scraps slash example. So we've done our the ones we currently have. You might be wondering how we're gonna generate them. All right, so the concept of generating the block tags will be explored in the Wednesday's video. This is because the video is getting a bit too long, and in order to make it short as possible and to get everything through, I will be exploring all these concepts on the Wednesday video, where I'll be showing you how to generate using data gen and adding the loot tables for the ore mobs. For the new ores, and adding the lang generation for the new ores. So that's it pretty much for today's episode. I hope you had a great time. See you on Wednesday, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.